Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Prescott scrambling to his left. Parsons gets him from behind, saves the touchdown.
Fuck the Packers and the Cowboys. How about that? Watching highlights of this ridiculous game, one of which cost me my fantasy game this week, damn it. Started rooting against the Packers as soon as they started going to everybody else but Tucker Kraft. And that touchdown that they overturned, you sons of bitches. That would have done it for me. And was anybody defending during this game? I mean, both of these teams gave up massive plays they had no business giving up. And some of the dumbest penalties I've seen since last year. So, yeah, I mean, good grief. A 40-40 tie. I mean, they should have both be handed losses. They shouldn't even have the dignity of a tie in this game. Fun game to watch, but, when you realize these are professional athletes that are paid to play in this, fuck them both. Luxor Bangs. I believe this is the first time you were on the channel. He doesn't know a lot about comic books. If you have a comic book question, I'm here for that. So, welcome to the Sunday night wrap-up, weekend wrap-up. It is a loose conversation. Anything that we hit on, either doing a watch party or doing a structured show that you didn't think we spent enough time on. This is a show where we put a bow on all of that. I can see Omega Swiper is in the chat. Oh, yay. Lord knows where the show will go if I ever get put him back on here again. Yeah. Welcome back, I guess. I don't know. The duck, what's going on? Yeah, sure. I don't know how have I been going on without you, Omega. I mean, same lunatics, new lunatics, it's all the same to me. No, Omega. How did you get your name? I'm assuming you swiped Omegas. I don't know. Jerry Jones is on. Just get him off my TV. Okay, I don't get it. All right. All right. Congrats on your new project coming up. Wow, hard audience tonight. Jeez. William Watchmen TV show. Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it. So I like I said last night, I took a while to come to the conclusion that I think it's the best comic book TV show I've ever seen. I've seen them all for the most part. I don't think there's going to be a Young Avengers. I think the Young Avengers will be in the Avengers movies, but I don't think they're going to dedicate resources to the Young Avengers. I think they're going to stick with. I think every one of these storylines is going to be told through the body of the actual Avengers. So let me see if I have a co-host tonight. Do I have a co-host tonight? Let's see. I always find out. Yes, I do. He'll probably be here in a couple of minutes. Yeah, man, there's a bunch of screwed up games today. Well, the Chargers found a way to lose to the Giants. This is why I don't gamble. I'd be broke. A lot of block punts, a lot of just really crazy stuff. A block extra point that went back for a safety 2-point. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, it's not needed. They can do big box offices without Young Avengers and still incorporate them into the current storyline. Oh, sorry, I'm just unwinding with you guys and looking through some of the stuff I missed, but I was not available today. Rational Skeptic, William, are you excited for the Ben Affleck directed film Animals starring Ray Fisher, Gillian Anderson? This is the first I'm hearing about it. What's it about? What was your pitch for X-Men and MCU? For me, it depends on when we're starting and when the universe gets consolidated, because I think you don't get an X-Men proper until we have this universe that's going forward. I think up until then you're gonna see the old Fox X-Men and remnants of that, but I don't think you'll see a new X-Men until they've done away with enough of their universes to go forward with. I got through, like I said, I got through the first episode. I have not finished. I have not finished the series yet. I don't do a lot of the binge watching stuff. I just don't like binge watching, and Marvel Zombies is not something that there's. If you spoil it for me, it's going to hurt me, so I don't really need to binge watch it. But like I said, I like the artwork of it. I like the tone of it. Not a big Marvel Zombies fan as far as the comics goes. I mean, there's just a lot of it out there, but this looks like fun, so I gave it a shot. The film Animals is about an LA mayor candidate played by Ben Affleck being kidnapped. Okay. I think everybody in the Fox universe is either going to die on screen or they're just going to be erased, because as the Secret Wars goes along, their realities are going to be either completely pruned or they're going to be consolidated to an existing reality, which would change their timelines and they wouldn't exist. So I think they're all technically going to die, but some of them will die in glory, trying to save the multiverse, and some of them will just disappear because a new reality will replace them. No. All right, guys. Please like, subscribe. For those of you who are able to join us this Saturday for Spinal Tap, I do have spots open this Friday and Saturday. The link, I don't think I put the link is in the description, but I forgot to tie it to the top of the chat because I just was absent-minded today. There you go. If you want to host your own watch party with us, there you go. Let's see. Okay. I don't listen to a lot of what Rob Liefeld says. I like Rob Liefeld. I respect him as a creator, but he just seems like he's angry all the time. He just seems like, the whole Deadpool thing where he didn't get invited to one of the premieres. He's just been, every time I hear him, and he may even be right about certain things. Maybe you should invite the creator of Deadpool to the premiere of the movie. That's, that wouldn't be there if him and Baby Nick Aiza didn't create the character. But I just, every time I see what he says, I just scroll down. William, did you hear what Rob Liefeld was saying about about Marvel and how they canceled plans for cable extra? Yeah, and you sent me that, and I mean, they when you look at how Feige runs Marvel, they have gotten better about doing so. But before, the rule was if they didn't create it, they didn't associate it with it. So now Kevin Feige has evolved, and now you see things like Daredevil. Now you see things like Deadpool. But at the time that story came about, that it just wasn't where their mindset was. They figured if it wasn't MCU, we need to recreate it into our own thing. That's why they didn't inherit Spider-Man, not because they didn't necessarily like Andrew Garfield, but because they needed a Spider-Man. They do things that fit their narrative. And very rarely is that not the case. I mean, we're seeing that recently, but at that time, I think that you're referring to, if I'm correct, that wasn't the mindset that Kevin Feige was operating under. All right, Brad's devices are now connecting. See him coming in. I'll bring him in a second. William, was Disney right to buy all of 20th Century Fox, or should they have just bought the rest? That wasn't an option, and that would have been lunacy for Fox to allow that, because those are valuable assets that they knew Disney wanted. So it was all or one, and that's what allowed them help them get the price that they wanted. That and Comcast fucking with Disney and driving up the price $30 billion. But no, it was those IPs. They knew that Fox wanted those IPs. That's really, I mean, that was really the main reason for them getting all that. So they would never have, in my opinion, separated those IPs from the sale. So they really didn't have a choice to answer your question. Hello, Brad.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
Good. I mean, I actually
I don't care. I was just something I'm supposed to say. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm just fucking with you.
I'm more people I know have seen The Furious, and it's making me envious because I need that in my life yesterday.
This is why I don't ask you how you're doing. You come up with some obscure shit. Why haven't you seen The Furious? Why haven't you seen The Furious?
Because it hasn't been released, and right now it's only playing at film festivals, none of which are located near me. Right now, it just played at Beyond Fest, and that's out in LA, and then it played in Toronto. Toronto was the big one. And where was the other one? There was one.
Why aren't you getting invited to these things? You're a journalist. I mean, Meg gets invited to these things.
Oh yeah, but I got other shit I'm doing too. So
yeah, whatever. So then you can't really feel bad because I mean, when did it get released?
They don't have a date for it set yet. It's supposed to come out in Hong Kong. This is a Hong Kong movie.
Does it have distribution?
Like XYZ and a company called Edco Films are part of it. So it's supposed to be out in Hong Kong later this year, and hopefully around the same time. Stateside. Because like XYZ, they're like stateside or like international, and the Edco is like the Hong Kong distributor. The Edco, for those they're the guys who kind of handle things like they put out ones like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Fearless, and a lot of big ones like that. So, but it's like I guess I know people now who've seen it. Either friends or in some cases colleagues who have seen it.
You can't get a screener.
I'm definitely going to be pursuing that.
I mean, I hope you have better luck, because I know getting screeners is hard. But give it a shot.
I mean, depends on a lot of it's also depend. I mean, like digital screeners. I mean, it'll also depend on like the timing of like if it is it they don't do it usually like 8 months out from release or something. So,
did the microphone part come in? I'm still
yes, actually, in fact, I was
yeah, here we go.
I'm still figuring it out.
Okay, now open it. Hold it up. I want to see it. Brad, there's nothing to figure out.
Well, there kind of is actually, because I got this. Let me pull it out here. Okay. So I got that. So this whole business here. So this plugs into this, but how do I plug this into this? Or do I just do I plug them both into the back of my computer, or what?
Okay, so is this a wireless setup you have on your earphones,
No,
or it's
no,
wired?
no, it's wired.
Okay, so the wired one goes from your headset to what?
Yeah, I put it in the back of the USB port in the back of my computer and my PC or my laptop, depending on which one I'm on at the time.
So you're going to your microphone like this one right here has the
Yeah.
aux jack, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think what I need here. So. Okay.
So
Yeah, because again, it's like this. Again, I can't plug my headset into here.
no,
So
no, 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 no. Okay, so you should go from aux
Yeah.
into the computer,
Okay.
and you set your devices. Your input device is that microphone,
Yeah.
and then your speakers setting is the AES these
Okay.
right here.
All right.
That's what you should be able to do.
Okay. I'm gonna figure that out.
I'll buy you some time while you're doing that.
Guys.
Actually, he got it, sooner than I ever thought he would get it. I mean,
I got it came in the mail today. It's like
yeah, so
they deliver on Sundays.
So I'm let's see, Brad. Can you use both at the same time, or do you all stream and disable your headphone mic? Yeah, you might have to disable some stuff too. Like I said, let's see how it sounds when you come back in. Yeah, and the Rams almost lost it. Dude, this was a wild day. I don't know how these people who make their living off of betting on football do it. I'm looking at like what I would have gone for and my little picks that I did just for fun, and I was all over the place, man. I was all over the place. Probably do better on college than I would on because I'm sorry ACS. I knew Georgia was going down. I knew Ole Miss was going to win that game. USC fucked it up for me though. So, dude, okay, let's see what you got here.
Okay, so I got it hooked up.
Okay, so something I can hear you, but you need to disable. You need to something is.
Now I can't hear you at all.
Okay, so now you have to set. Okay, so you need to set your output device to your headset.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh.
That sounds great, actually. I can actually hear you clearer than I should, but that's great.
I just can't hear you now. Can you hear me fine?
Okay. Yes. I can hear you. Yes.
Huh? You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Do I sound good?
Clearly.
I just can't hear you now.
Great. Okay. Hold on. Check your messages.
Can everybody else hear me? They says they can't hear me either. Drogo says he can't hear me.
What? I can hear him. Drogo's lying. He can hear you. Hold on. We're gonna figure this out. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. The only thing is I can't hear you.
Hold on.
Well, everybody's telling me they can hear me, so at least that's an upgrade. I mean, is that noise William was talking about? Is that gone now? Let's see. Hello?
Hey, so mute yourself real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like you need to set set your All right, just walking Brad through, making sure he's got it. Because his mic sounds perfect. His mic sounds better. There was no glitches or nothing. So, yeah, I was just telling him. Yeah, we don't hit. Yeah, that sounds perfect. Whatever that mic, whatever you did with the mic is working. So, cool. Hi, Ray. I'm back. Ray, he's talking on the mic and the headset that Ray sent him. So, Mega, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. We gotta take care of those. Yeah, it was not open paneling, I guess. It's just a Sunday wrap up. Club soda. Okay, here's another word from a brand new person. I don't know whether you guys are brand new or whether you are just using different names. But anyway, welcome. Okay, no, Edge is not leaving AEW. He's filming Percy Jackson. He's going to be away for a little bit to film Percy Jackson. He is not leaving AEW. The whole thing was set up for him to do that with. He's not leaving AEW.
Okay,
go ahead now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Is the annoying noise gone?
It's gone.
Okay. Mission accomplished last year. I guess it means I don't have to anymore.
We'll say it. Go into it again. Say it. Now talk.
Can you hear me?
No, you still have the mic going through the thing. Now pull the mic down on your face.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah. But there's no static.
Okay. Well then, again, the mission accomplished.
Okay, you sound much better than.
Well, that's good. I'll keep this plugged in now.
Okay, you might want to just lower your volume a little bit because you actually sound too good.
Okay, let me.
Just a little bit on the thing.
Is that better?
No, it's the same.
Okay, let me lower my.
Somehow you've enabled the microphone that's on your headset, which is fine. We'll take it.
If it means that noise is gone, yeah.
Yeah, that means, and you sound much clearer. All right, cool.
Okay, all right, awesome. We're silent.
Right.
Where did that? There it went.
Well, there is an annoying sound, but it sounds like Brad. He's basically that's hilarious. Hi, Ray. What's going on?
Joking aside, can everybody just tell me, because other people have talked a bit about it. You can tell me in the comments, just what level of clarity I sound like I've got now.
Yeah, actually, does Does Brad sound too loud? Because I'm in stream right, so I might hear you a little bit differently. There we go. All right, well, good. Now we don't have the static. That's the main thing. Is we don't have the static.
Awesome. I'm on my PC right now, but I mean, I can also probably plug both these into my laptop and get the same effect.
Yeah. On the microphone, I can hear myself, but I can also make that adjustment so that this is a high.
Okay. Kind of cool. It's kind of tilted towards me too.
All right. Let's see. So I think you disabled something that was interfering with something.
Okay.
Without being there, I couldn't tell you what it was, but we're fine.
Oh, if it's gone, was again mission accomplished.
Yeah, William, do you think Edge is leaving AEW? No, I don't think so. I think he is leaving to film Percy Jackson because he's going to be in that. So, and I believe he's under contract with AEW for quite some time. And he missed time when he broke his leg out here in Las Vegas. And whenever you miss time like that, even if his contract were up, his contract, you get added time onto your contract. They're paying you for when you're not working, you're not able to work. So you get that time added on to your contract. So I don't think he's going anywhere. Let's see. No, I like him as Joker. I thought he was a Joker that fit the story that was being told. So I thought he was fine.
And we've probably still seen we probably have only seen about 30% of his total performance. So
yeah.
All the stuff that
Oh shit! Now I'm fucking up on sound. God damn it.
Yeah. Oh, he just said you're stuttering.
Okay. Oh man. Okay. Hopefully, that's just a glitch. Okay. So this week, we talked a lot of Peacemaker. We went over the history of Earth X/10. Also, we are according to James Gunn, episode 8 was part of his pitch to David Zaslav when he pitched his
Really?
plan.
I must have missed that quote.
Yeah, it was on a news story I was reading on my phone before. I should have sent it to myself, but apparently,
that's like really pivotal then.
Well, according to him, it sets the stage for the DCU, or helps set the stage for the DCU.
So it's like even it's like going beyond like his Superman movie. It's also like again this portion of Peacemaker. That's interesting because he already was playing that. Like it's they're very these last 3 of the episodes. Not to miss, but now also that episode specifically was again part of what got him the job. That is pretty interesting.
Yep. Actually, doesn't AEW let their employees show up at other promotions like Jericho? Well, not with WWE. No, they're not going to let him show up at WWE. I doubt that's going to be the. I doubt that he's going to allow that to happen because WWE, Nick Khan, and Triple H wouldn't let Luger. I mean, it was something that was going on with Luger and Sting, but they're petty, so I doubt that's going to be the case. All right. I mean, what are you? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, are you talking about like the us on screen? I can see one just doesn't look like we're like buffering or anything. Oh god, we went from me having problems to William having problems audio wise. Weird.
I didn't see it too much, but I don't think it's anything to do with me. It might have to do with the internet. All right, so
he uses a YouTube live problem or StreamYard. Okay, yeah, probably this internet thing then or StreamYard thing.
Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, it looks like episodes. I mean, we got 2 more episodes because we just did episode 6. So, episode 8 seems to be the key episode because in my opinion, something is going to happen that establishes his playing field. I don't know exactly what. All we can do is guess, but I think that that something is going to happen that establishes things going forward, whether you watch Peacemaker or not.
I think we kind of got that a little bit with the Lex Luthor cameo in the last episode, where that seems to. I think that's probably gonna be a little bit like connected to the Man of Tomorrow, with the whole Rick Flag comes and says we can't offer you release, but we can't offer you redemption, and Man of Tomorrow is supposed to be like some kind of a team up story with Superman Lex. So by the way, Gunn is kind of he's definitely heard the theories that that anatomy textbook he put up that his villain is Brainiac, and he's kind of he said something to the effect of I wasn't unaware people would theorize that when I put that up, but we're gonna we're gonna keep that. That's not. I'm not gonna comment on that for now or something to that effect. So I don't know. Does that sound like he's confirming or denying Brainiac?
I think he's just not commenting on something that's that far away. I mean,
it's
right now,
that far away. It's 2 years out.
That's far enough away not to be really putting a lot out about it because you have a lot of story to tell in between that. There's no reason to. Be honest with you, I kind of like whenever I hear Man of Tomorrow, I kind of turn my mind off and move on to something else because A, it's so far away, and B, there's so much story in between now and then that is probably going to be more relevant as we go on. Trying to guess with the villain from 2 years from now or what anything about Man of Tomorrow right now, it doesn't really. It's kind of counterproductive because we have other projects in between that will put everything into context. It doesn't, like I said, if it were like this spring or this summer, different story. But we're talking about not this spring, not this summer. We're talking about the next spring and the next summer.
I mean, it's going to be out the summer of July, like really like almost 2 years to the day from Superman. So I mean, I can't imagine we're not going to A, know the villain, and B, know who's playing the villain by like probably March or April.
Well, then that's like 6 months away, almost 5-6 months away. That's a long time. The fact that you can say 6 months away before we meet any type of benchmark like that tells you how long you have in between where we're sitting now and the release of the movie. And as we've seen, we can talk something to death, and we'll just let them feed it, because there might be something going on in these stories. Might be something in Supergirl that might be relevant. Who knows? I don't know. And like I said, it's just too far away.
Well, Supergirl is definitely relevant because, I mean, you know, she's in the credit scene, Superman. So,
but as far as like relevant to what's going on in A Man of Tomorrow, there's just nothing right now that he's given me that's going to make that 2-year gap close to the point where it would matter at this point. And he's not ready to announce anything yet. As far as the only thing we know is the people that have already been announced, that have already been in Superman movies.
Do you think, you know, because again, I missed that quote. I mean, I've seen a few interviews or snippets of interviews circling around on social media. So this is probably where a lot of that's drawn from. That, you know, that quote where he said, like, you know, the 8th episode of Peacemaker, season 2, like that was part of his pitch that got him the job. Do you think that after that episode is released, that, like, what's the way to put this, that maybe kind of like the floodgates open in terms of like him, like really kind of like putting his chips out there, saying, okay, now you guys have seen this. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what Elseworlds is. Here's how this being part of that pitch. Here's the roadmap, or here's like a sense of the roadmap.
It's very possible. It's very possible. It's very possible that is, like I said, that you will have a better understanding of what we're working with here, as far as what is what, where is where, and when is when. You'll probably have I'm not saying you'll have everything you need to know at the end of episode 8, but I think we'll be a lot further along than we have been. I think a lot of the guessing at that point will be over, because we'll either, you know, it'll either be struck down or validated by that. But
We're still going to be guessing. You can't, like, you know, tell us like the ending of the 10-year plan at that point. But you can
tell us what the plan is.
You can tell us, like, here's the on ramp, or here's the fork in the road, or here's the
direction. Not even the 10-year plan. Be honest with you, where we are at right now, we don't even know where the fuck we're at. We got these universes. We don't know which universe is going to be relevant, which one's going to be the one he uses going forward, which one's going to be seen, you know, on a regular basis, which one's going to be on a one-off, how these things interact with the current mainline universes. Will they recognize each other? Will they go like old DC pre-crisis, where we automatically know that these universes exist, but we just go about that and then we tell different, or are we going to be telling different stories from different points of view of these universes? We won't know that. We won't even know that completely after episode 8, but we'll have an idea we'll have more of a clue than we have now. And right now we don't really have much of a clue. We're just going where he leads us. All right, Omega.
Yeah, but that's interesting, because again, I hadn't seen, you know, that specific quote where he said like that episode was part of his you know, what got him the job, or he pitched his ass off. So that's pretty interesting.
He already had the job. I mean, that's all was begging him. So,
yeah, that's true. But because again, we when you put that much kind of weight on it, that definitely, it was already clear that indicates, yeah, this is something very pivotal.
I'm trying to find where it was at, because it was on something I was flipping through on the phone, and it was something I was looking at. Like I said, I was doing something today, and then I just looked at it, and I'm like, I had heard that before, but I just don't have it. Let me see if I can Google it. I'd probably just be able to Google James Gunn episode 8 and find the source. But yeah, I really, right now, if there's anything I don't give a fuck about right now, it's Superman Man of Tomorrow, because it's just, like I said, it may as well be 1,000 miles away. James Peacemaker, episode 8.
Yeah, I'm guessing, yeah, again, that's episode 8. That's where we finally see the Skull Spiders behind that door. Again, it's my term. I should trademark that. Call the patent office for it. But that's what they are, you know, big skull spiders. It's on the trailer.
Damn. All right. I don't know if this is the source I want to go with. I thought I saw it for a much more credible source. It's quoting him. I don't want to. So this is a quote, but like I said, I'm not the I'm not the biggest fan of this particular. I mean, not hate or anything, but like when I really introduced the idea of the DCU to David, I was all about what some of these stories would be. I presented the ending of episode 8, and that's pretty much what I read today. But take that with a grain of salt because I don't have that. I don't have that coming from one of the actual mainline ones that. Not to reveal. Yeah. So, but like I said, I got James Gunn's Peacemaker film. This is IMDb. After season 6 of episode 2, actually they missed that around. They actually have a typo on IMDb. Episode 2 of season 6 helped establish a point between Peacemaker and 2027 Superman sequel, which I don't think that's necessary. But yeah, okay. We're left wondering just what the final 2 episodes of season 2 of Peacemaker will bring, and if they'll further expand the DC universe in a meaningful way. And while James Gunn obviously won't be spoiling anything, he's teasing what the season finale of Peacemaker will bring. After some prodding from Deadline about what the future of Peacemaker, if there is one, James Gunn said, "You're going to find out more in episode 8 because it's not necessarily season 3. Some of these characters will continue on." And that's on Joe Blow. That's Joe Blow was going. Let me go to Joe Blow. All right, you're going to find more about everything. Okay. I'm not ruling it out. You'll see episode 8, and maybe you'll find out a little bit more. And with varying universes in place. So yeah, Joe Blow is where a lot of this is coming from. So I don't know if we get a season 3 of Peacemaker. It doesn't sound like it has anything to do with the success. It probably has more to do with where the story is going. If it's necessary, then they'll do it. If it's not necessary, then they'll use these characters and other means to tell stories. So that's also interesting because that's cool. That means he doesn't really have to tie himself to a Peacemaker 3 if he doesn't want to. What's my favorite character from Peacemaker so far? Chris is my favorite. I like Hardcore. Hardcore, I mean, especially this season. I think this season is the best portrayal of Hardcore. What about you?
That's definitely the best portrayal ever. He was my favorite character. I do think they've actually. I think this is probably my personal favorite of what they've done with Peacemaker himself. Of what between the 2 seasons and the Suicide Squad, the Superman cameo. So probably this is where he's been the most endearing.
Do I think Lex is a moron? He can't cave. I don't think. Well, it depends on what Lex. I mean, we're talking about Lex Luthor, not the Lex Luthor that you guys are coming into this thinking about. He's not. This isn't the Lex Luthor from the past stuff that you've seen. This Lex Luthor still has to evolve to the point where he is that Lex Luthor that is that scheming genius. Because what you saw in Superman was not that guy. This is a guy who's at the beginning of all this and is a scheming person, but he's not going to be the level that he will be. But he's definitely going to escape from whatever prison that that's a given. He's going to escape from that prison. Either he's going to escape or he's going to get released, but he usually escapes, depending on who's writing him. If we see Deathshot or Deathstroke, there's no guarantee that we're going to see those characters anytime soon. We could see them next episode, but like I said, there's an unpredictable nature when it comes to what he's doing that we can't just assume that the way other people have done universes before is going to be the kind of blueprint that he's going to follow. He may be following something that has nothing to do with prior studios and how they've done it. Even Marvel, he's made it a point not to be like Marvel, so we can throw that out. And unless you want to go backwards and step on your own asshole, you're not going to do what your predecessors did. So he basically, we're in a world right now where he's going to probably try new ways of telling stories and not necessarily use predictable characters. Now, he said he was going to use the mainline characters for the movies because and I love the way he said it. He needs people to come out and see the movies. And when you do these abstract B-list characters, people tend not to come out. think that's a lesson that, with Suicide Squad, Suicide Squad was a great movie. I like that movie. I kind of love that movie, but it was a bunch of reject characters that, literally a quarter of which were dead before the credits were finished. Some of them literally died before their credits hit the screen, which was hilarious. But like I said, people aren't going to peel out money for, they want the A-listers. He understands that. But because he's got the TV, he's got these other things going on. He's got, some of these other lower budget Clayface doesn't have to cost a lot of money. So there's less, less risk there. He can tell these other stories throughout these, these other apparatuses while keeping the heavy hitters on the screen. I like that strategy. I really do. Be honest with you, if you just put what James Gunn's doing in a vacuum, so far I'm okay with almost most of the stuff he's done. So let's see, Flying Sheets made out of prison. I just don't have the energy to deal with you guys today. I mean, this is not that show. We really don't do open panels on the Sunday show. We may, if I consolidate the Saturday show, we may. But right now, which is just a casual conversation. Hello, Jose. What's going on? I like how Lex showed no interest in Chris because he wasn't a metahuman. Yeah, he's like, well, being goofy isn't a crime. Like, yeah. But once again, that's a Lex Luthor who hasn't had the kind of experiences with people like Batman and Peacemaker, who, if you're a villain, can cause you plenty of problems just based on hell. Lex Luthor is not a metahuman, and he almost destroyed the world. So, no, it has nothing to do with you as an individual. I just don't feel like doing an open panel tonight. I've heard the details of what Zack Snyder had planned for the Snyderverse, and it sounded too crazy, like Lois cheating with Bruce and Lois having his kid. Do you think he could have pulled it off?
He was dead. How is that cheating? It's not even that they thought he was dead. He was dead, as you saw at the end of BVS and in the lead into Zack Snyder's Justice League.
To answer your question, yeah, I think he could have pulled it off. How it would have been received is another thing, but yeah, he could have pulled it off. Because you got to remember, though, one thing we got to remember is that whatever reality that all happens in is getting wiped out over and over again. Because at some point, Bruce is going back, sending the flashback and all these other things that are happening. So all of that would have been wiped out anyway. The entire universe was set up to be to end. So those are on storyboards. I don't know how seriously how if they would have come to fruition, but if you're asking me whether you could have pulled it off, yeah, how it would have been perceived, and that's another thing, especially how it would have been perceived in that era of people who were not open to accepting anything Zack Snyder or any dramatic differences. Everybody came to these things, and to some extent now, they come into these comic book stories with their impression of what the story should be, their version of how these things turned out, totally ignoring the fact that we are not writing anything. And I always say over and over again, you really need to sit back and let the storyteller tell his story to see where it's going. I always caution people when they're going into comic book movie environments, the version of this character that is just stapled to your skull is not the one that this person you're about to walk into a theater whose movie you're supposed to see. That's not his story. And if you can't let go of your, fixation on whatever Superman that or Superboy, Batman, Wonder Woman that's in your head, then you just might as well stay home. If you're not going to open your mind up to what that person who's been hired to tell the story is going to tell you, then you may as well just stay home. That's kind of, and why even engage in comic book characters if you're going to do that? So, but yes, I think he could have pulled it off. I don't know how back then it would have been accepted, but given the nature of the story and the fact that it would have been wiped out anyway and reset, I don't think there would have been those kind of consequences, to be honest with you.
By the way, kind of related topic. Zack Snyder has officially just joined Instagram.
I thought he was already on
Instagram.
Instagram.
No, his main thing was Vero and a little bit of Twitter, and now he's on Instagram. And he's already got like over 10,000 followers in 2 days.
I'm glad he's on Instagram because, like I said, these apps, the way I operate when it comes to these apps, I operate on one platform. And so it's a lot easier for me to read and accept and send out information, like if you're on Buffer or if you're on things. And some of these apps are, not on those platforms. So really kind of like I don't get all the information that I can get sometimes and as easy as I want to. So glad to see it on Instagram because I'm on Instagram. I'm on Vero as well, but I don't have anything. I don't. There's no way to consolidate Vero into any of these platforms. So,
well, we do too. We definitely do too, Omega Swiper.
Brave and the Bold is another, like I said, dude, if you think I think that Man of Tomorrow is too far away to even occupy a square inch in my mind, dude, fucking Brave and the Bold is so far away. It's like, shit, we'll be in a different presidential administration by the time that thing comes out. Literally, no joking. So yeah, let's kind of stick to like now, which,
But yeah, I love Pocket Years. Yeah, we do too. We very much champion that on here. This is interesting. Robert Burnett said the Peacemaker has used multiverse better than Marvel. I love Rob. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think in general. DC in general
is used. I think I kind of want to see like how Peacemaker wraps up before I kind of fully make that proclamation.
Well, I can make it now because of the fact that the first thing you have to do is acknowledge it. That's the first thing you have to do is acknowledge that there is one. And with Marvel, and like I said, the difference between Marvel and DC is one of them. If you've been a fan of DC for as long as I have, you understand that these alternate timelines and universes were a discipline that DC created and built up. They gave it away, but they are the ones who did it. And even after they gave it away, you still had Elseworlds, you still had all kinds of things now. And look, we are at 39 years, 40 years from the mistake that was Crisis. Now here we are with multiple universes and different types of stories. We're in the middle of the DC All In, DC KO Absolute version that's all tied together. That is literally giving you a playbook of why we should have never done Crisis to begin with. If you guys are reading Superman, the story that they're telling with Superboy Prime, it's awesome with the Legion. So we're going back to that. It is a discipline that is embedded in DC's DNA. Marvel, it is a plot device. When Marvel does multiverse anything, for the most part, it is a plot device to get from point A to point B. Just like they're doing it now in their movies, the multiverse isn't something that they want around. It is something that they're using because they had these other universes that they did not own, and now they own, and they're consolidating to create a timeline that they can work with going forward. Once we get past Secret Wars, we're most likely not going to have a bunch of things like this. A lot of these things are going to get pruned. If you were watching Loki, you'll see how that all sets up. There was a sacred timeline, and then what happened to King broke it up. And now Loki, storyteller version Loki, is sitting with his hands on all of these things, but we know that there are multiverses because of Fantastic Four comes from one and so on, and we have the Fox universe, and because we have Deadpool and Wolverine. But that is all a progression to get to a certain place. Once we get to that place, you're not going to see a lot of that. Whereas DC, it is a discipline that they have parallel universes currently running. And up for 50 years and up until Crisis, that's what it was. You could always see the Earth one or whatever Superman, the one with the gray temples that came about in the 30s versus the one that came about later on in the Silver Age. So they just basically explained away. Well, that's a Superman from a different. Jay Garrick, Flash. How do we explain that? We got a new Flash. Okay, we'll have them cross over. First multiversal crossover. JSA teaming up with JLA. It was a discipline when it came to DC. Whereas when I don't know if DC's doing it better than Marvel, it's just what they do versus somebody who's just using it as a tool. It's like if I play tennis and I'm a professional tennis player and Brad takes it up on the weekends just to keep in shape, I'm gonna beat Brad, all the time because it's what I do. You see what I mean? It's just a difference. That's all. Mm-hmm. All right, no more believing the bull talk. It's like, dude, why don't we just talk? The end of the 10-year plan. we're nowhere near any of this shit. unless they start announcing people. But he hasn't announced anybody yet for anything. I don't even know who's directing the. I know Muschietti was the original one, but we're so. Is he still the one? I mean, dude, it's so far away. I missed every one of these. They're saying because the way he's dancing, he's doing a swastika. If that's the case, I missed them all.
Well, doesn't he do that in the intro for the first season too?
He kind of does that when they're doing this. That dance is weird, man. Both of those dances. The first one was just so like, what the fuck is this? I was just about to skip the intro, and somebody said, "Don't do it, man. Watch the intro. It's hilarious." And I'm like, okay. Let's see what next question. Hunter Iggy. Whoop, I'm hearing some static again. Damn it. Not as much as we were before, though. So we'll just play with it. William, what are your thoughts on Fortnite disability, the dance emoji, the Peacemaker? I have none. I don't play Fortnite. I'm sorry, guys. When it comes to video games, I have made a conscious decision never to get into them because I have an addictive personality, and you will never see me again. You will never see me again. And when you do see me again, I'll be 350 pounds, full-on beard down to my chest, in bad health because I won't get up from the chair because I want to win that game. So I don't play any video games. None. Because when I was a kid and I played, dude, I knew that I needed to get out of playing video games when I was playing Sega and Nintendo, when I had them all stacked up and I would play these games and I just wouldn't want to leave. I mean, I wouldn't want to, now we got networking games we can play, people around the world. I would never leave. That would be my whole social existence. This fucking center would shut down. No. So no video game questions, guys. And Brad, I don't know if you play them.
No, the emoji or the that one. Not so much. Or Fortnite. Yeah, my nephew's big into it.
Into the Spider-Verse movies has done the multiverse stuff. Well, yeah, because they had to, because that character literally originated in another universe.
It's in the title too. It's like,
yeah, but not really, son of. I mean, you got to realize that story was set up in the Ultimate Universe that they ultimately got rid of. So I don't know if they're doing it better because DC just has more content. There's too much of DC content to judge by for me to say Marvel's one or two things, has done it that way. But once again, the Into the Spider-Verse, the entire thing that gave you Miles Morales was eventually consolidated because now he's in Earth 616. He's actually the Spider-Man of much of New York. So, I mean, it's not, they just don't, it's not what they do on a regular basis. It's just not what they do on a regular basis. William and Brad.
I think I saw some of this floating around. It's like,
I heard about this, but I'm like, okay, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing.
Because he's doing like that.
I understand. I know what the swastika means. I know it was actually a symbol from somewhere else that was co-opted.
It's a Buddhist symbol originally.
Yeah. So if you read Blade the Immortal, he actually has a swastika as part of his on his uniform because it doesn't mean that. I understand what it means today. I understand, but if you are telling a story that involves Nazis, I'm sorry, there's no way around it. You just can't. If one of the peacemakers doing a Nazi dance because the peacemaker of that universe is associated with Nazis.
I mean, if him doing this gets the band, like, what's the swastika flag at? What does that do for the show?
But that kind of stuff is part of the story. It's fiction. We're not glorifying these things. We're not saying that they're great. It's part of the story. You can't tell. Man in the High Castle had Nazi flags all over the place. Yeah, I mean, and just because he's doing a dance, the dance was part of the story.
I mean, imagine every World War II movie ever made if you had to take swastikas off screen.
Well, how are you going to tell anything about anything that has to do with anything that has that kind of historical reference?
Yeah.
You just can't. Now it depended. Now if you're just using it to wave it around and you're promoting Nazi propaganda, that's one thing. When we're telling a fictional story that involves Nazis, it's kind of hard to avoid that symbol, even in his dance, because James Gunn told you last year the dances and things, or if you're paying attention, have a lot to do with the story. So if there is a swastika dance hidden in there, we're literally watching a story about Nazis.
A man who goes to another universe where the Nazis won the war. So yeah.
Which Batmobile is my favorite?
You talking about cinematically or what?
Cinematically,
I mean, the one I grew up with definitely was the Burton one, which that's still pretty iconic. I think I definitely love Affleck's too, because that's almost like taken like directly out of the Arkham games. Is his Batmobile?
I've never played those. So. I do like his though. I mean, Superman tore it up. I would have to say, to be honest with you, just because how it was presented, the one that was presented in the Batman, the way that enters the scene, the way that lights up, the way that's a tool of horror to it.
See, he has a great intro, and I remember Scott from Squadcast and Animated. He's talked about like he's always wanted to see like a Batmobile that like was essentially just a car. And it's got like a subtle kind of like that thing on it with kind of the the fins on the back. But see, I don't know. For me, it's like the Batmobile, like the iconography of it really kind of lies in like how much the imagery of the term.
See, to me, I everybody's going to be different, but I never needed it to have that kind of things on it. It all depends on when and where it's being presented. Like, if you're talking Batman in 2020s, I don't need like fins and like the eyes and shit on there, like, but for me, Batman is not, to the fan, he's iconic, iconic, that's fine. But in practicality, he presents himself as a tool of terror to the bad guy, the abstract tool of terror that literally is supposed to be like, you don't want to run into this guy. And that's when they introduced the Batmobile in there. It is literally something out of Christine. The lights start and everybody's stopping. I mean, because remember what he was doing? He was looking for Catwoman. He was to get the money back. And
that's the first time it appears in the movie, right? Because he's right around the Bat cycle, prior to that.
It's the first time it appears, and it's just the way that scene is shot. It just underscores what Batman to me is supposed to be. He is supposed to be something in the night that puts terror in the people that are putting terror into you. And it's the way that whole movie was defined, that they don't, I can't be everywhere, but they don't know where I am. And he's like a tool of terror.
Or like with the bat signal, like it's not just it's a warning. It's a warning. Yeah, I love that line. I love that line.
Yeah, so that Batmobile and that whole atmosphere to me defines what Batman should be.
Aaron,
where the hell you been? On there for an hour.
And there was a lot of swastikas. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I got the Wikipedia for.
Yeah, they hung it. They hung it down, and they had what's his face, the guy who played Oprah Griffin, Rupert Friend.
Rupert
Friend was on.
Can we pull up the Wikipedia for swastika without being pulled down? Or should I just read off some of it?
Read it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the algorithm does not like the word Nazi, but I mean, we're talking about.
So this is from the Wikipedia page for a swastika. So the swastika is a symbol used in various Eurasian religions and cultures, as well as a few African and American cultures. In the Western world, it is widely recognized as a symbol of the German Nazi Party, who appropriated it for their party insignia during the early 20th century. The appropriation continues with its use by neo-Nazis around the world. The swastika was and continues to be used as a symbol of divinity and spirituality in Indian religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It generally takes the form of a cross, the arms of which are equal length and perpendicular to the adjacent arms, each bent midway at a right angle. So, again, it's
Hitler did not come up with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But this is the third paragraph for it. Although used for the first time as a symbol of international anti-Semitism by far-right Romanian politician A.C. Cuza prior to World War I, it was a symbol of auspiciousness and good luck for most of the Western world until the 1930s, when the German Nazi Party adopted swastika as an emblem of the Aryan race. As a result of World War II and the Holocaust in the West, it continues to be strongly associated with Nazism, anti-Semitism, white supremacism, or simply evil. As a consequence, its use in some countries, including Germany, is prohibited by law. However, the swastika remains a symbol of good luck and prosperity in Hinduism, Buddhist, and Jain countries such as Nepal, India, Thailand, Mongolia, Sri Lanka, China, and Japan, and carries various other Hindu meanings for people around the world, such as Akan, Hopi, Navajo, and Tinglit peoples. It is also commonly used in Hindu marriage ceremonies and Deepavali celebrations. So, and there's a whole section on like modern controversy, which I mean, you can obviously infer what that's all about. But yeah, Hitler, it's not unique to the Nazi Party. They didn't come up with it. It's been obviously tainted by the Nazi Party.
Well, it's been dominated. You're not going even those other religions, and even though they use it for other things, it doesn't matter. It's been used for the Nazis, and that's what it's going to be known for.
Yeah, which is very unfortunate, but you know.
But it is what it is. I mean, when you see the swastika, you're not thinking Hindu. You're thinking Nazi.
I mean, as the Joker said, there's no going back. You've changed things with it comes to swastika.
Well, here's the thing, though. But as far as the previous question goes, it doesn't matter listen, the comic that I used yesterday as a reference had swastikas all over the cover because they are depicting. Tell your story. Tell your story. If you're offended by that being part of the story, then don't read the story. Don't watch the story. But if you're watching a story and a topic is that, then that is a part of the depiction of the story you're telling that are embedded into the reality of the story. That you can't, like I said, you can't have 12 years a slave without certain things that are going to make people uncomfortable, myself included. But guess what? When I'm sitting down watching, I know the context of what I'm reading. They're not glorifying it. They're telling you a story. And sometimes stories have things that are not comfortable. You have the ability as a consumer not to watch, read, or
because I caught the bit on the box stream the other night where you mentioned 12 Years a Slave. How you still have to remind yourself that Michael Fassbender, he's just playing a role.
Yeah, he's Magneto.
But you have to remind yourself because like you wanted to murder him in that whipping scene.
Same thing with Samuel Jackson. I got to remember all the other movies that he's Nick Fury. He's Nick Fury because I wanted to kick Steven right in the nuts.
Yeah,
he's a piece of shit.
They
rolled right.
Probably like a lot of people. I have not seen 12 Years a Slave since I first saw it. So I'm sure they do like drop, certain terminology in that, but
all over it.
Again, I guess I haven't because it's not because of the subject matter and just because of the the power of it. It's not a movie that has a lot of rewatchability.
No, once you see it, I mean, it's a piece of art and one best movie. But because of its content and the realism of the content, even though I was not there hundreds of years ago, you can still relate. You can relate. You can just look at that and make you uncomfortable. And like I said, you want to take that whip. And you want to take it around his neck, but you got to realize Michael Fassbender is playing a guy that's long dead. Michael Fassbender is Magneto. He's David. He's all these other people. So, but it's the same thing with Samuel Jackson. Luckily, I had seen Samuel Jackson a lot more stuff than I'd seen Fassbender, and I could remove myself from wanting to smack because I hated Samuel Jackson in that movie more than I hated Leonardo DiCaprio. I just hated everything he represented. I hated how he carried himself. But there were people historically like that all throughout the history. And that if you're going to depict, I would rather you not depict something than be untruthful in this depiction. So I'd rather you just not tell the story. If you're going to handicap your story because you don't want people to be uncomfortable, then just don't tell the story. There's a lady who survived the Holocaust. There's all these words are going to get us demonetized. Forgiving Nazis for what happened. And people all the time, so maybe still covering. But like I said, it's part of history. It is part of history that has been used in entertainment. I mean, at least 1 million times now. So I mean, you watching Glorious Bastards, there's just plastic. I mean, so yeah, it's. But the fact that Peacemaker is doing a dance. He does a dance as part of the opening of the show, and if the opening is to a season that's dealing with this ultimately, then it's appropriate. Now, is that is the symbol itself appropriate? No, but it's used in the context of the story being told.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got any?
Do you had anything else for like other performances like that were in the context like a historical drama where the character was or the performance of the character was so despicable that you had to remind yourself like
Schindler's List.
Yeah. Schindler's List. What's the guy? Is it Ray Fiennes?
What's the guy's name? Ray Fiennes? Yeah, Schindler's List. Yeah, Schindler's List. Schindler's List. Schindler's List. Schindler's List. Schindler's List. What's the guy's name? Ray Fiennes?
Yeah.
That plays the head guy. The guy gets hung at the guy who was shooting the Nazis. When he played a real life Nazi that was shooting. Now he would sit on top of his terrace and he would just pick off the Holocaust. The the Jewish people. He was just randomly shooting. He had his little sniper rifle and he would shoot them. And he was cruel. He was an historically accurate person that was hung in 1946. That guy. There's people in Schindler's List. There's a couple of characters in Schindler's List. I'm like, I really hate you right now because of but because they were doing their jobs. You were supposed to hate those people, and everything. And Schindler's List was a tough watch, and this is before all of this stuff. It was a lot less acceptable because the content and how it was presented, but people had the understanding of Schindler's List when they were showing. If you really want, they were showing Schindler's List in schools, uncut or graphic content in there that is that you just it's uncomfortable. But here,
yeah, Aaron, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. It's like
but I give
Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg all the credit in the world. He did not skimp. He did not hide the aspects of the story that made people uncomfortable. He was. And he's talking to family members. He's talking to grandmothers, great aunts, and people that are related to him that are telling him how this was. And he turned that and put that stark image of that. And you have people getting shot at point blank. You get people, the gas chamber scene. You have all that thing. It's unavoidable. He's putting it in the story. Once you bought a ticket to Schindler's List, there's no hiding from the reality of it. And that's why that's one of the greatest cinematic achievements of storytelling, because obviously, the World War II had been over for 30 some odd years before I was even alive to put me, and he did it again with Saving Private Ryan. He has the ability to where it doesn't matter how old the fucking story is, he's going to put you there, and you're going to understand the gravity of the situation that you're in, whether you put on a uniform or not. I haven't happened to put one on before I saw the beaches in Normandy, but I was never involved in anything like what he depicts in the first 37 minutes of Saving Private Ryan. But I understood, and everybody in that theater understood the weight. Same thing with Schindler's List. Them, right? Don't tell them. If you got to hold back because, I think this might offend somebody, then you're no longer telling the story. And some of these things have things in them that are just really fucked up, but they're part of the reality of the story. It's what it is. All right, rational.
Well, Oppenheimer wasn't about. Well, I mean, it took place during the time of the Holocaust, but it wasn't the focal point. It wasn't the Holocaust. It was about the making of the bomb. Now you could say maybe it held back and didn't show like any Japanese people in Nagasaki or Hiroshima getting incinerated actively, but yeah, as far as like the Holocaust, I mean, it held back because that wasn't where its attention.
It's not a me thing. I see what you're talking about, rational. I just nothing I can do about that because it's how StreamYard is presenting the product to you guys. Unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that. Oppenheimer did not hold back. Oppenheimer wasn't telling a story of gore and the effects of the bomb. They put that in there with the melting people, but it wasn't about the effects of the bomb. The Oppenheimer did not hold back. Okay.
He's making a Tom Bombay. I wasn't aware of that. I'm a big Cameron fan.
How is there are no heroes in Oppenheimer? To be honest with you,
Yeah.
And it was a necessary evil. Truman's decision to deploy it. I mean, it could have been more heroic because the ultimate decision, as he explained to Oppenheimer, was on him, not Oppenheimer or anybody else. Just because they created it, use it, he did.
Aaron's comic books have become a very uncomfortable source in the start of the comic code. Yeah, the comic code, they're right after like seduction of the innocent.
Yeah, what's that?
And here, he has like the DVD or the Blu-ray of Blade from '98. Go on like the making of for that because they the genesis of the character and they go a little bit into the comics code on that, and it lists off a lot of things that were in the comics code at the time. And part of that's because they interviewed Stan Lee about like they were doing a drug story with Spider-Man, where they ran into some trouble where they had censors telling you can't show Beat's drug habit, and that was the point around once they started like running that kind of bureaucracy. That's kind of when the comics code started. When did it ever like officially end, or did it just kind of phase out?
Mid 80s.
Yeah, but it wasn't like an overnight. It just kind of like gradually sort of receded.
People just started working ways around it. I mean, it only really affected the mainline comics that were mass produced. I mean, it affected it affected mainly Marvel. Okay, the Comic Code Authority was formed in 1954. And that was right. And it was on a lot of comics. It actually by the early 2000s, publishers bypassed Comics Code. Marvel Comics abandoned it in 2001. By 2010, only 3 major publishers still adhered to it: DC Comics, Archie Comics, and Bongo Comics. Bongo broke with the CAA in 2010. DC and Archie followed in January 2011, rendering the code defunct. So it was 2011 when it was finally gone. But Marvel got out of it in 2001. But in the 80s, they had been working around it to the point where it got updated in the 70s and then the 1980s. Throughout the 1980s, 90s, there was a breakaway from the Comics Code Authority. In 1984, the Comics Code Authority denied Swamp Thing issue 29 the seal of approval. However, DC decided to continue publishing the title without the approval. Some subsequent DCs, including Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, launched without ever receiving a CCA seal of approval. For example, the adult content geared 1993 Vertigo imprint did not launch with the CCA approval. So they basically, even though it officially went away in the 2000s, it was effectively gone in the 80s. The fucking farce it was, whatever it was.
Yeah,
because you really didn't have to abide by it. It was really a code. It was
because they opposed it because they said, okay, if we don't censor ourselves, the government's going to.
Well, and the parents, it was more for the parents. If they saw that code on there, that maybe it was something. But I pick up shit with the Comics Code all the time that had shit in it that, unless if your kid wasn't reared that way, he shouldn't be reading it. But, to me, Comics Code was just some bullshit thing to circumvent parenting. If I had parents that basically readied me for just about anything and made it so that I could put what I was watching in the context, so I didn't need to be censored. So like that. I mean, obviously there were certain things that, you would want to keep a kid my age from seeing, but in the context of comic book storytelling, the stuff that my dad was reading when he grew up was far more violent than anything that was coming out when I was a kid. So, yeah. All right, guys. I don't know. Like I said, I can't do anything about StreamYard's presentation or YouTube's presentation of the show. It's that we're at right now. Like I'm on the stream with Brad. We're not choppy, and the actual StreamYard itself that we're in the room with is not choppy. But if it bring the interface between YouTube and StreamYard seems to be the problem. So I can't fix that. Not midstream. I can't. So hopefully get with Brad.
No, I think we covered it pretty well. I mean, just we'll probably do another the night before because we finished up Alien Earth, so now the weekly watch alongs for Peacemaker. So probably do another night before the episode, like what we think might happen, and in the next episode, and who might appear, et cetera, and who's the guy dead. Yeah. Hello, Taladia. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Talad. Long time to see, man. I know you're on a different part of the world, but thanks for swinging by. So, all right, guys. We don't have any plans on being on the air tomorrow for a formal show. There might be an informal one that pops up every now and then, depending on what kind of Monday energy I have. But that's about it. that's about all I have right now. Once again, if you want to purchase a watch party, the link is in the description and at the top of the chat, or at least in the chat. If it's in the description, it's just let me know what you want to watch. And if I approve it, then we'll do it. If I don't, we'll be refunded. Until then, have a good start to your weekend or your week, which starts in about 11 minutes here on the Pacific Coast. This is the last Sunday of September. Shit, wow, it just went by. It just went by. And like I said, we are now heading into my favorite part of the year. In about a month from now, going into
you get your hour back.
Get my hour back. I will. Hopefully, the Dodgers will have won their second straight World Series, but who the fuck knows how that's going to go? And don't expect me to be pleasantly on the air during Dodger losses. I'll try.
I saw you posting a little bit earlier about that. I think it was about wrestling, but it was still.
No, this is about football. Fucking my fantasy team got screwed because Tucker Kraft went in for a touchdown, and I'm jumping up and down because that was going to cut my deficit in half, and then I would be able to have my wide receiver go ahead and hopefully pull me back in the game. But we called it back. Some other guy runs it in, and then Jordan Love doesn't target my receiver for the rest of the night. So you Packers, you deserve to fucking lose just for that alone. God damn it. So yeah, fantasy football is really the only reason why I watch some of these games. So all right, guys, we will see you very late on Tuesday, our first Tuesday without Alien Earth. That's gonna suck, but
we'll see that eye again eventually.
Yeah, 2 years from now. And actually, I don't even know. They haven't greenlit a season 2 yet. So
yeah, that's true.
So, all right, see you tomorrow. Or see you I'm right about one.